Hi there and welcome. My name is Jason, and the plant that I have to share with you right now is called Lavandula angustifolia. It's the Hidcote variety. This is also known as English lavender, but I have it right behind me here, and it is just covered in blooms. It has all of these beautiful purple flowers. The flowers are very fragrant. Just sitting here next to them, like I can smell lavender everywhere. If you squish the leaves are also very fragrant as well. Don't forget the leaves are fragrant. This is a perennial evergreen shrub. It grows to about 1.5 to 2 feet tall and wide. As you can see, it's a very spherical, round shape. As far as the blooms, this plant blooms in the late spring, early summer, and then sometimes again in the fall. So as far as pruning lavender, or this type of lavender, Lavandula, Lavandula angustifolia, you want to lightly prune it after these flower spikes are spent. And then I would just prune it down into the foliage by a couple inches. And then you're going to want to prune it again in the late fall. If you get a flush of blooms in late fall, you'll want to prune it again once the flowers are done as well in the late fall. But when you prune it in the late fall or the early fall, mid-fall or whatever, whenever that time is for you in your area, do prune it back by like 2/3 of the plant, 1/2 to 2/3. But just remember, when you cut lavender, don't cut beneath where there's foliage. So if you can see here, there's like, I don't know if you can see it very well, but lavender has like woody base, and you don't want to cut too deep into it. And one of the rules is don't cut below any foliage growth. So if you're cutting down on your lavender, and just don't cut like into a woody stem where there's no leaves, because it needs those leaves to regenerate the plant over again. You can end up killing your plant if you cut below the foliage. But yeah, it's as far as the sun requirements for lavender, you want full sun to sun. It needs at least 6 to 8 hours of sunlight a day. And as far as the water requirements, it's drought tolerant. It's very low water needs. As far as fertilizer, low fertilizer needs too. I would just use a general purpose garden fertilizer, a nutrient of like 555. So low nutrient, or you can just mulch it in the fall. That should be fine as well. So as far as the type of soil is concerned, you want to grow this in sand to loam or a combination thereof. If you have clay soil, lavender can sometimes struggle in it. So if you have clay soil, really amend it. And like, don't just amend the soil, like really amend it, and make sure that it drains well for the lavender. As far as the soil pH, this plant has a very adaptable soil pH. You can grow it in anywhere from acidic to neutral soil. As far as propagation, as you can see, you are going to be pruning this plant back. I would grow it from seed in the early spring, or if you're going to, take cuttings, I would take semi-hardwood cuttings. So make sure that there's foliage on your cutting and that you don't cut beneath the wood. But this is loved by bees, as you can see. I wanted you to see those bees. They're just like, bees love lavender. So they're really, really great for your native and, honeybee population. Bees love lavender. As far as cold hardiness, this plant is cold hardy down to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. As far as fun facts about lavender, it's deer tolerant, it's gopher tolerant, it's drought tolerant. It's a very tough plant. As far as using the flowers, they are edible, so that's another fun fact. And when I would recommend harvesting them is when they're flower buds. If they just start to bloom, that's okay too. But if it's, if they've been blooming for a really long time and they've all gone to seed, that's probably like the least favorable time to harvest them for culinary purposes. But so say you do harvest the flowers, I'd tie them up, hang them up, and let them dry completely. And then one way I like to use them is if you get like a cup of sugar, just take 1/2 teaspoon of your dried lavender flower buds and put them in a blender and blend them into a lavender powdered sugar. And you can use them in cookies and baking and whatever, and add that beautiful sweet lavender aroma and taste to your desserts. You can use them in salad dressing or in salads. The edible flowers are awesome. They're very pungent and aromatic, so make sure that you use them sparingly. And you can also make little sachets for your closets or drawers. There's so many ways that you can use lavender flowers. But anyways, this is Lavandula angustifolia, also known as the Hidcote variety of lavender. It's a type of English lavender. And my name is Jason. Thanks so much for hanging out today.